So, TBR for 2026, Ed, how many books should we talk about?
We should probably talk about 26, mate, I reckon.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. Readers,
Reviewers,
countrymen,
lend us your ears.
Thank you to all of our bindery members.
Thank you to the Pit Fighters, the First Swords, and all of the Bright Stars.
Truth and courage.
hello and welcome to the channel. I am Ed. This is my lovely brother, Will.
Oh, I saw you there. You call me lovely.
Sorry.
Thanks, bro.
I meant to say that when you're not here. We are the brothers Gwyn Dio, sons of grand author John Gwyn, fantasy king. Just all-round nice bloke, really, isn't he? And we love to talk about fantasy books, historical fiction books, horror, literary fiction, children's picture books.
Any genre that's ever been written, I think we would
Yeah.
at least try once.
We would try it once, exactly. And that is why Will is a very big 50 Shades of Grey fan, aren't you?
Well, I'm only about 5'9", so not that tall.
Very nice.
Not that big.
So we'll today be talking about our 26 books that are on the TBR for
10 plus 3 each.
for 2026. Now, Will and I also do have a Bindery account, which is where another website where we can share exclusive videos. If you join on Bindery, then you get discounts on John Gwyn merchandise, Brothers Gwyn merchandise, as well as exclusive access to our Discord and our Booksworn Book Club, where we read one book every month together and we chat about it with our very wonderful loyal warband of subscribers, which is great fun. But should we get into the meat of the video,
Let's
Will?
get into business,
Tell
Ed.
us the first book that you're really excited to read in 2026.
I'm sorry to show off. I'm doing what you've done a few times, Ed. I'm picking
You're
up a book
flexing
that
your
is
Arc
not
muscles.
out yet. The Arc Muscles. This is Daughter of Crows by Mark Lawrence. This is book one of a new unreleased series, and I cannot wait. Papa Gwyn has picked it up and has said, holy moly, Mark Lawrence can write.
Did he?
So, I
Did
cannot
he?
wait to dive in. He did.
Oh, he did he?
He did. He did think it was a very good idea. So Daughter of Crows, a new beginning of a fantasy series. Mark Lawrence always writes with this really concise, beautiful detail and standout characters. He delivers everything I want, basically. So this is meant to be maybe a bit more similar vibe to the Red Sister trilogy than anything else he's done before. So harkening back to that, which is my favourite trilogy by him. So
Really?
that's great news for me.
Nice.
Daughter of Crows, great title as
Yes.
well. So
Yes.
that's the first book.
Wonderful cover
Not
as well.
necessarily the first one I pick up this year, but the first one I thought I would mention.
Very nice, Will. I'll also be reading that as well. I'm going to be starting off with a great historical fiction recommendation from
yeah.
Will, which is Yellow Sky Revolt, which is by Baptiste Pinson Wu. This is about China in the 2nd century, and it is the Yellow Turban Revolt. If you've played Dynasty Warriors,
Yeah.
great heroes like Zhao Yun, Lu Bu, Sun Cao, Zhao Dun, many others, then you probably know a little bit of this history. Now, I believe this is a book, and the trilogy is centred all around the Yellow Turban Revolt.
More than a trilogy, but what I'd say is, but one is the Yellow Sky
Rebellion,
Revolt.
yep.
So don't think you're going to have as many of the key characters as you expect. If you go in knowing that, I think you'll have a brilliant time.
Excellent.
It's a coming of age story. The rest, the book 2 is kind of coming of age as well, and
Yeah.
book 3 is more of an adult. It's a chronicler's framing narrative of an old grizzled warrior telling his story.
Love it, and I'm really keen this year to read, you know, about cultures, about historical periods that are very different to what we've already read. You know,
Yeah.
I've read a lot of Viking sagas, a lot of medieval fiction as well, but I haven't actually read anything set in China. I don't think, Will. to be
Okay, this will
honest.
be book
so
one then.
It'll be lovely to get that under my belt as well.
Talking about different cultures and a book that you love and have recommended, Ed, it's another arc. It is the Book of Fallen Leaves.
Nice.
You said the only book ever to say like Game of Thrones and actually be true.
Yes. Yeah, all the others are liars.
So this is book one of a new series, a debut by A.S. Tamaki, published by Orbit Books. Can you give us a little, you know, sprinkle of what it's
Yeah,
about?
well, it's really... If I tell you the plot, it kind of would take away from probably your enjoyment, but I'll tell you that there are a vast array of characters from different backgrounds, in different positions of society.
Yeah.
And you have everything from a long-lost prince, all the way down to a monk, all the way down to a worker in a village, and then also an assassin who is infused with part god. It's a great cast of characters, the action is amazing, and the dynamics between different factions, between the different cultures, between the characters as well, all leads to a book that is very much gearing up to some bad things are approaching. A bit like you have like the White Walkers as like the big baddie. You have something not quite similar, but you have the same kind of concept with the book.
Of an overarching dread.
Exactly.
Nice.
In
Next up for
different
you, Ed.
shape. Next up for me is I'll be returning to the uncle of fantasy, which is obviously David Gemmell. I feel like he's the
uncle.
heroic uncle, isn't he? This is Lion of Macedon, which is not actually a fantasy book. It's actually a historical fantasy. And it is the story of Parmenion, who is a warrior in the Macedonian army, and his nickname, his epithet, is the Death of Nations. That's all I need to say, really, isn't it? We were talking with Papa Gwyn and his great friend Sadak, who you probably would have seen mentioned in the acknowledgements of Papa Gwyn's books, because Sadak always reads the books way too late, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's actually reading them on time now, which was great. But he recommended me to read Lion of Macedon. We were chatting, and he said this is one of his favourites by David Gemmell, and I need to read it anyway, Will.
You do.
So there
you
go.
definitely do. One of those that I haven't actually read. I think I've read 13 books by
Nice.
David Gemmell. So you'll catch up one day, brother, and this will be the first one
Yeah.
I think you've read that I haven't. So you can give me some feedback, see if I should pick it up.
Wow. Pick it up now.
Pick it up
Continue
now.
for us.
Next up, I have got some self-published fantasy. It is Wild Darkness Gathers. What a title, what an author. Philip Chase, Dr. Fantasy himself. Of course, he's going to deliver a brilliant read.
Yeah.
I am ashamed I have not picked it up yet. I think I've just been waiting for a moment to really cherish it because I adored the Adan trilogy so much, and with university there's not much time I have to physically focus on a physical read. And the ones that I have been kind of gearing up for interviews, like with Joe Hill.
Yeah.
And King Sorrow takes a lot of time. I'm glad it did because it was my favourite read of the year, but that's kind of sucked up my dedicated physical reading time. So I'm waiting for a moment, and when I can seize one, it will be Wild Darkness Gathers.
Very nice. Now I'm heading on over to a behemoth of the historical fiction world, the very well-respected Colleen McCullers' The First Man in Rome. And I believe that we are following Gaius Marius, who was a key figure of Roman history, and with his dealings with was it Cornelius Sulla, I believe?
I don't know.
Who had a lot of dealings with Caesar as well when he was young. But anyway, so basically all I know about this is that it's one of the most widely loved portrayals of Rome, and it's incredibly accurate. It's a brilliant story. We love a good yarn, don't we?
We do, and that is a chunky book.
It's a chunky book, and I want to read more kind of Roman historical fiction as well. And the more Roman historical fiction I kind of look at on Goodreads, it's all about kind of just, a soldier, they get trapped or they get left behind their legion. It's about them getting back to it. Or, it's about a soldier on the frontier against the Celts, or a soldier on the frontier against the Scythians, or and the Parthians, or anything like that. I wanted to read something set in Rome. Now, I know about Robert Harris's Imperium.
Yep, trilogy. Well, the Cicero trilogy. Yeah.
I'll be diving into that as well at some point or other.
Brilliant.
But I think I'm going to prioritise The First Man in Rome for this year.
Very nice, Ed.
Thank you.
I need to put that up as well.
You do.
Next up, I've got Dawn of the Firebird, a recent release, published early December. I cannot wait to dive into this beginning of an epic fantasy series published by Bloomsbury Publishing House. So I really cannot wait to dive into this. There's an awesome pitch for it by the author herself on the channel. We can link that. But is this also on your list, Ed?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, it is.
Hell yeah, man enough.
And I've heard that there's quite a few, subversions. Maybe some people you think are the heroes or the villains. Maybe some people think are the villains are the heroes.
That's a major spoiler, Will.
No. Advertised by the author themselves that there's a lot that isn't as it initially seems.
Ah, okay. And for me, we have The Bone Raiders by Jackson Ford.
Nice little swoop in there, Ed.
Thank you very much. I'm flying with joy, Will. This is a story of fantastical Mongolia, and we have a clan, a tribe who are living, and there's a warlord kind of moving into their patch, and it's about the warfare that ensues between them. And it's meant to be fun, kind of a crazy explosion of a ride with giant lizards. Excited for that.
That is ingredients for a great read.
Exactly. Jackson Ford also did an amazing pitch for us on our channel on the video. We'll probably link it up there. You've probably seen it already because it's fantastic. And that kind of solidified the fact that I have to read this ASAP. I did mean to read this and a few of these other books last December, to be honest, but I finished Lightbringer very early December and it just knocked me out basically. It destroyed me and I just couldn't face reading a book again.
I do understand that because you loved it so much, even if that next book is amazing, because it's not that world and that character.
The book hangover.
know it's not going to do it justice. Next up, it's been a journey gearing up for this one as I reread the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb to gear up for Ship of Magic, book 1 of the Large Ship Traders. I intend to read the entirety of the Large Ship Traders this year. So I did say this last year, so I'm very sorry if it seems like I'm repeating myself, but I then changed my mind and said I'm going to reread the Farseer trilogy. So technically, if we twist it around a bit, I said I'd read 3 Robin Hobb books in 2025. And I did.
You did hold up the Life Ship Traders trilogy.
Yeah, but I didn't completely fail. So I will definitely be reading the Life Ship Traders this year, and there is no getting around it. I pinky promise, Ed.
Pinky promise.
I pinky promise.
Nice.
You can clip this, post it anywhere you want, and I will keep to it.
Okay.
We should revisit this video at the end of the year and see how many of the 26 we actually read.
Yes, I'm meant to do that. I'm going to do a video about my TBR for last year, because remember I planned it a year in advance.
Oh, and see how much you did.
Exactly. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Another book that has recently been sent as a pitch on the Brothers Gwyn on one of our videos by Caden Love this time, Toothsucker, which is essentially Empire of the Dawn meets the Bloodsworn Saga's Vesely meets Cyberpunk 2077.
I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. It's vampires who eat teeth in the cyber era, like Blade Runner. So I don't really know too much else about it apart from that. Although, go and check out Caden Love's pitch because it's excellent. But it sounds incredible. It sounds brilliant. I definitely want to be reading more indie fantasy this year. And Toothsucker is going to be one of the first that I'm diving into.
And Caden's a great guy.
He is a great guy.
Another quirky, fun, creative read with a blue cover is Mushroom Blues by Adrian Gibson. We have had the pleasure of meeting him. Very fun and quirky and lovable himself.
I would say Adrian was a fun guy.
He was a fun guy, but there's just not much room to pick this up all the time. So I'm focusing on doing it in 2026.
You're clutching at spores now.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
Oh, great.
Wow, well done, Ed.
Yeah,
so Mushroom Blues, really looking forward to it. I'm cheating as I have actually just started it. And so I will definitely have read this by the end of the year.
Wow. Finally, you're reading a book for once. That's great.
Whoa.
Horus Rising. Now, I have actually read this before, but this is the year that I'm fully embedding myself into the Warhammer 40k lore universe.
So if we lose you, we know you're just embedded in it.
I've even, ordered my first Warhammer 40k to paint.
No way.
And to play.
Is this...
I know.
Do I need to take a picture of this moment before you transform?
This is the year I'm going full geek, I think. You know, we've done the reenactment when we used to do Lord of the Rings, Middle-earth, Warhammer, didn't we?
Yeah.
But maybe in my Henry Cavill era.
Maybe.
That's
a lifestyle, though.
I need to get swole as well.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, Horus Rising is the first book, kind of a prequel of the Horus Heresy series by Dan Abnett. And when I read it last time, I really enjoyed it, but I listened to it, which I think is a big mistake because from this year, I'm kind of working out what I can listen to on audio. I think because it does very much depend on a number of things if I'm going to enjoy it or not, and get the most out of it. Whereas if I physically read a book, I know that I can do my best to get the most out of it, and I probably will. But audio, depends what stage of my life I'm at, what I'm doing at the time when I'm listening to it, the narrator, whereas the style of the book. I think there are some fantasy books that are epic that you can listen to and get on really well with on audio. There are some that you really need to physically read because there's a lot to take in. So Horus Rising was one of those books that I think is a mistake to listen to unless you've already read it and you really know the story of it and you can enjoy it like that. But I've already started physically reading it and I'm getting so much more enjoyment out of it already. There's so much like lore behind it. So you'll notice a few 40k books cropping up over the next year.
Cool to see appreciating it from a different perspective as well, Ed.
Thank you, Will.
I've got one that you've recommended to me and I'm picking up for University. That is There by Tommy Orange. And so you said this is basically about a group of people who are brought together by a certain event.
Yep.
Do you want to go a bit more into detail?
I think, is it 13 or is it 14 or quite a number of Native American POVs.
Oh, quite a lot then.
It's about their lives going along in a certain time period, and then all of them converge at the end at a Native American powwow, which is basically an indigenous event of dance, of culture, of kind of highlighting to other people things that are held important to you. And it's very, very popular events, but Tommy Orange uses that as kind of a big event for lots of people, different motivations going on, different things they want to achieve, heartbreaks, loves, rivalries, that kind of stuff. And then the ending is explosive. It's amazing. It's incredible.
Well, I cannot wait to read it. And it's quite a short read as well, but meant to be very, very hard-hitting.
Absolutely. And the next one for me is something that I was inspired to read after we saw a very slight snippet of 6 minutes of The Odyssey at the IMAX cinema near us, and it was Ilium by Dan Simmons. So there's a big pitch for this that I don't fully comprehend, because I feel like I have to read it to actually understand it. But the parts that is making me read this is that it's a retelling of the Iliad in space.
Don't read any more.
That's my book drop.
Next up, I've got The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. And this is book 1 of a series. I think book 2 is coming out this year, actually.
It is indeed, Will. Yeah.
And this is meant to be swashbuckling. It contains pirates, and it's got almost overwhelmingly brilliant reviews. I think it came out in 2024 now.
Yep.
So it's been a little while. I've had it on my shelf that entire time.
Hardback as well.
I need to dive in.
Yeah, I'm keen to read this at some point as well. So we'll definitely do a body read. Hopefully a review as well will be fun.
Hopefully.
It's actually really rare that we read the same book nowadays.
It is true.
Isn't it?
We need to, one of the focuses on Brothers Gwyn this year is to read more book 1s as they're coming out, to cover some reviews.
Yeah.
Because then, hopefully, over time, if people who are watching this support those books and connect with those books like we do, we can kind of follow the journey of the publication of the entire series.
We're tastemakers.
No, we're not. Next
Okay,
up, Ed.
so I will also be reading a series that is incredibly popular, a series that has recently taken over Sadie, her life, and
Just taken over
taken over
Sadie.
Sadie, to be honest. And it is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Now, I did start reading ACOTAR, and whilst I did enjoy some parts of it, I wouldn't say that I loved it or got a lot out of it, much to Sadie's disappointment and fury. But this time, I have heard that Throne of Glass is a much, probably more enjoyable reader for at the stage of my life right now.
Okay. How far through the series is Sadie?
She's finished it.
Oh, all 7. Wow.
Yeah, no, she binged this like I binged Red Rising.
Wow.
But a lot of people say Throne of Glass is the other version of Red Rising. So
Really?
if you love Red Rising, you'll love Throne of Glass. If you love Throne of Glass, you'll love Red Rising.
Okay.
They're like, it's like the 2 series to go to like get you into stuff. That's what I see on TikTok anyway, and we trust those people on
TikTok's
TikTok.
always right.
Because we're over there as well. You can check out our link below. Anyway, so I'll be reading Throne of Glass, which is essentially the story of a young girl who I believe was an assassin, and she has spent a very hard year in a salt mine. And there is one opportunity for her to achieve freedom, which is to become the king's champion through a tournament. And I assume she's going to pass that test with flying colours, and then it'll lead her into a different journey, because it would be maybe quite boring if she failed and then she was stuck in the salt
But
mine.
maybe she fails,
for
gets
another
snuck
few-
through the tunnels,
Yes,
and
yes,
it might be
we'll
2
see.
winners. We'll see. There's lots of subversions of this.
Lots of submersions. Will I love it? Maybe, but I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. Sadie said it's a great one. It's a great series. I will actually be binging the whole series this year is my plan with my binging authors thing. So I think I'll be binging Throne of Glass. But I don't know which book to read first, because there is like a prequel that was like book 3 or 4 that a lot of people say read that first, and then a lot of people say if you read that
Assassin's
first,
Blade.
you're a fool. I don't know what they're called. I think so, yeah. Yeah, I trust you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next up, I've got a book that you might have heard of, Iron Gold. Book 4, the Red Rising saga, Pierce Brown.
My poor heart will.
So I will be reading the sequel trilogy, which is obviously same series as the first 3 of Red Rising. I stopped at Morningstar twice, and it's not because I felt I was concluded I don't want to carry on, but it's because I felt like I want to wait a bit closer to Red God to read book 4, and it's a big commitment to read book 4, 5 and 6, and I wanted to make sure it felt like it would be special even before Ed's raved and ranted about it for the last month. At the dinner table for Christmas, that's all he could talk about, was Pierce Brown.
Will, you actually printed off a photo of me and Pierce Brown.
I did, as a Christmas present, because you loved Red Rising so much, and when you met Pierce Brown.
Yeah, it's all tea Sadie at the end of the day.
So I do intend to read Iron Gold, Dark Age and Lightbringer, and have my soul sucked out of my chest.
You got to do them back to back.
I intend to. It's going to be like a present to myself when I finish uni.
Yeah, they should be the first that you read after uni.
So
good choice as well. And I will also be continuing a bit of David Gemmell ancient Greek vibes with The Lord of the Silver Bow. Have you read that one?
I have.
Tell us.
Book 1 of the Trojan series. I really enjoyed book 1.
Oh, that means you didn't enjoy book 2.
No, but it jumps to completely different perspectives, which I didn't click with. So book 1 up here, book 2 my least favourite of all his books, and book 3 somewhere in the middle. So I still really enjoyed it, and it'd be great for you of kind of your interests for 2026.
Do you reckon maybe reading a different David Gemmell book? Maybe reading like Waylander instead?
I would say definitely read Waylander.
Instead of Lord of the Silver Bow?
Yeah, you're covering kind of the historical fantasy with Lion and Mastodon. So I'd say maybe shift it to Waylander.
And the TBR wheel changes.
Already, before the end of the video.
Yeah.
Next up, I have got Love Medicine by Louise Erdrich. I'm kind of doing a companion read to There by Tommy Orange, which I've already talked about. Love Medicine is also about 2 Native American families, and I think it's multi-generational. And it's about how these families kind of come in and out of each other's lives, but how ultimately they are conjoined.
Yeah. I think you will get a lot out of that book, Will.
And you said you might read it as well because you loved.
When you read it, I'll pick it up straight away. So.
Perfect.
I will also be reading. I'm just looking at my list over here because I haven't got these books physically. Yes, another sci-fi, The Stars, My Destination, which I believe is a book written in the 50s or the 60s. Mm-hmm. It's a sci-fi classic that is essentially a retelling of The Count of Monte Cristo, but in space, where I think like a ship worker, something like that, is betrayed by some people, left for dead. They go to a prison. It's about them escaping and wreaking havoc on these people who betrayed him.
Some chaos.
So, yeah, which in space would be pretty cool. We love Revenge. We love Revenge. We really do indeed.
It's the theme for season 1 of our Books on Book Club.
Exactly. So, yeah, The Stars, My Destination. It's meant to be brilliant. So I'm looking forward to reading that.
Very cool. Next up, I have got some non-fiction. It is Athens and Sparta by Adrian Goldsworthy, being published in 2026. And I kind of presume, it's what it says on the tin. It's about the history of Athens and Sparta, the 2 city-states that had quite a turbulent relationship, at times had to join together to fight great enemies, but also a lot of kind of conflict directly against one another, which you know a lot more about than I do. And so I think this will be kind of my springboard into that period of history.
It's a brilliant period of history because there's so many key figures of history in that time period that are important to us today, from philosophers to great war generals to, tyrants of history. It's a brilliant time period and a lot to get your teeth into.
And a lot that has, and a period that has so much mythology surrounding it, but when you think about it, you think, I don't actually really know any of the history.
No? Okay, well, nice. I think you'll love it. And another one for me is another 40k novel, which is Soul Hunter. I believe Soul Hunter is the trilogy, or is Night Lords is the trilogy, but I'll definitely be reading at least the first one. And this Warhammer 40k book is slightly on the opposite side of Horus Rising, whereas you're following like Space Marines with that. Soul Hunter is more about following the Chaos Space Marines as they are forced to go to battle with the Space Marine Blood Angels. And it's like a story, but from the other side of the conflict, as opposed to usually a kind of, on the good side, if there is any such thing as a good side in Warhammer 40k. But all I've heard about this book is that it subverts a lot of expectations. It's from different POVs in terms of what we're used to seeing, where you're getting behind the good guys and it's seeing kind of how the other half live, as it were. And it's meant to be one of the grimmest and darkest stories of 40k. That is just also a brilliant story.
Want to dive into that?
I thought it definitely appeals to me for a lot of different reasons. So, I'm intrigued to see how they do that.
Very nice. And next up, one I basically know nothing about, out. It's called Mortadin's Peril, and it's book 1 of a new epic fantasy trilogy by R.J. Barker. All I need to know is that it's by him.
You're a big Barker fan.
The Bone Ships, and also the Heart. I forgot his
Gods of the Weirdwood.
Gods of the Weirdwood, Heart of the Weirdwood,
The Forsaken
trilogy. That's it. And I just love his creativity, his imagination, really pushing the boundaries of what fantasy has explored. And I hope to see more of the same in Mortadin's Peril.
Very nice. And here I have a book recommended by Maddie from Chris and Mads, and it is Daughter of the Empire. Now, Terry has also been talking about this book, recommending that I need to read it. It's kind of my book.
Is that Jenny Wirtz?
Jenny Wirtz,
and Raymond E. Feist.
And it's essentially a fantasy world inspired by feudal Japan and the Aztec Empire. And you have a young girl from a noble house who has her family have been slain, and it's about her seeking revenge, but through kind of not through traditional means of going on kind of a hardcore Monza Mercato mission. It's more about how she uses her intrigue, her cunning to defeat them. And it's compared to Dune a lot by Maddie, which is a big thumbs up from me.
That's like you just saying insta-buy.
No, exactly. Fantasy Dune, I will read it. But by Jenny Wirtz as well, I'm always desperate to read more by Jenny Wirtz. I've never tried anything by Raymond E. Feist. And then Terry, who's kind of my guinea pig at the moment, has read it and said, like, if Ed's going to read a book, then it needs to be Daughter of the Empire. So I'm going to be binging, hopefully, that trilogy this year as well.
And Terry can be trusted.
Yes, he can.
Last up for me is The Last Contract of Isako, which is a new book, a new beginning of a... Is it going to be a trilogy?
I don't know if it's a trilogy.
A new series by Fonda Lee. Finished the Greenbone Saga in 2025, and so on to the next. And it's being published, I think, quite early in the year.
I think Feb or March, I think so, Will. And it's kind of a cyberpunk sci-fi fantasy. So yeah, so that'd be pretty cool. But we always, look back on the Greenbone Saga fondly, don't we? And the last one for me is The Persian Boy by Mary Renault. Now, this is book 2 of her Alexander trilogy, and it's a story of, I believe his name was Boabus, but it was Alexander the Great's eunuch who spent a lot of time with him in the last, I think, 5, 6, 7 years of Alexander the Great's life. And it's basically a retelling of those final years of Alexander, but from the perspective of his very close eunuch. So I'm intrigued to see what this is like, because I really enjoyed Mary Reynolds' first book about Alexander, which I think we can all agree with maybe isn't the most historically accurate Alexander the Great, but I still think it was a really well-drawn story with an intriguing dynamic between Alexander and his parents, because his parents were divorced, they didn't get along whatsoever, and at first Alexander was pulled to his mother, and then his father started to take a keen interest in Alexander the Great. And of course, Alexander the Great couldn't have been great unless it, for his father Philip of Macedon, who
laying the foundations,
some amazing foundations that meant that Alexander could go on and then conquer most of the world. Lovely.
Yeah, not necessarily like morally great, but in history gone down as great.
Exactly. So I'm intrigued to see what Mary Renault does with this book, because I don't think I've ever read a book by her and not given it 5 stars, to be honest, because I just love them.
Very nice, Ed. Well,
Thank
that
you.
is 26 books for 2026. Let us know yours down in the comments below. But for now, truth and courage, the Brothers Gwyn.
Truth and courage, the Brothers Gwyn.